Hello everyone, this is Lady Night. Today's topic is going to be kind of a VR to Katey Flowers video where she talked about her most valuable decks. And after watching that, I went through my own list of decks, and I have quite a few next to me that I know that are out of print, and I also looked them up on the internet to see what people are asking for these decks now, so what they are being sold for. And I'm just gonna show you what I have. So these are in no particular order. We're just gonna go through them as I have them on my list. A deck that is out of print, a German deck that was also sold as an English version, is the Ansata Tarot. And this one is a Major Arcana only deck. It comes with a little white book, but there's also a big guidebook, which has actually been published before the deck. So these are the cards, and they have like an Egyptian theme to them. And they also have, like, there's an astrological system behind them that was talked about in the book. And in the book, they used these paintings here as illustrations. And 4 or 5 years later, after the book came out, they decided to publish these as a tarot deck. So initially, they weren't even planned as a tarot deck, but then they turned them into that. And this is from, I believe the book was from 1981. And the deck is from 1985, so this has been around for a while, but it is out of print. You can still find it on the internet every now and then. Well, the English one is very hard to find. I haven't found one English one being sold anywhere, so only German decks. And this one ranges from anywhere between 45 euros up to 150. At least that's what people are asking for it. One of the first, well, it was actually the second 78 card deck that I ever got, was my Avalon Tarot, and that one I got from a witchy catalog back in the end of 2000, I believe. And in that catalog, they also offered 2 other tarot decks. One was the Atlantis Tarot, and I was thinking about that back then. This is a Scarabeo deck, and I have done a walkthrough of that deck, which I will link somewhere. So this deck has been out of print for a while now, and I managed to track down one version that was sold to me for the original price that this was sold for. So I paid 20 bucks for this. And nowadays, if you can find it anywhere, people are asking between 75 and 150 for this deck. And yeah, if you're patient enough, you may come across a person who sells this for the original price, but that's very rare, and it actually took me many years to find this, to track it down. Like, I got this in January 2019, and I originally thought about buying this in like 2005, put it on my wish list, and by the time like 2007 or so, I was ready to buy it. It was sold out, so not available anymore. But yeah, this one is part of my collection now, and I use it for financial questions. Another deck that is kind of sold out is the Röhrig Tarot, which comes in many different variations. So now it's not, that's why I'm saying it's not completely sold out. You can still get, wait, the glare, this box that has the German version of the deck, and mine is still sealed. That's my backup version. And it comes with this guidebook. So this is a really nice guidebook that has been put together by a couple who, I hope I'm not saying anything wrong now, I think they met because both of them use this deck and not very many people work with this, and they connected over using this deck, and I think they're a married couple now, and they put out this book. It's a great story. And this is much more detailed than the original book that was put out. That is this one. But this book was also not published by the original creator of the deck. This was written by someone else, but this doesn't go too much into detail because, well, you get a lot of text. Can you see that with the glare? Well, this full page for one card, and you get really large images. And you actually get more than one page for each card. It's like 2.5 pages per card. But for the minor arcana, let's see, you get a smaller image and then only a very, very small paragraph. And that's where the more modern book, which has only been published in German, as far as the writer of the book told me, because I asked if that was published in other languages as well, and they said no. So this one has been published in English. I think it's by Blue Star, something blue. But the original publisher that also published this deck in English, they have done this guidebook in a smaller version in English as well. And the original deck comes in a very large size. And it is the one with the Formula 1 racing car as the chariot. So here's my hand. So they're pretty big. And yeah, they're something else. And oh, seeing this card, when you buy this deck, a lot of times on the internet you will find that it says that you can buy the uncensored version, but that is actually not true, because to my knowledge there's not really any uncensored version floating around unless it is the Russian knockoff. Because what they did is take the images from this book and copy them onto the cards and then sell them, because here you have nice big images, and so they scan them and copy them. And the way to tell the difference with this deck is quite easy. So I'm gonna have to, of course when you look for the card you can't find it. There are 3 cards that have been censored. I mean, when they tell you uncensored and tell you that it has a lot of naked boobs, well, that is the regular deck. This deck has lots of boobs. But 3 cards have been censored, and that's the Death card. No, not the Death. The Hanged Man card, the Princess of Cups card, and the, I believe, 4 of Discs. I'm almost there. But everything else, boobs, butts, all uncensored. Way to go. Spoiler warning, there's going to be nudity. Now, so when they talk about uncensored, they usually, like with this card, let's see if I can bring this closer. As you can see, the Hanged Man, he is wearing something. In the original artwork, nudity, he's not. And that is the uncensored version. Same thing with the Princess of Cups. You can see she's wearing panties. And in the original artwork, if I can find it. Wait, where is it? She's not wearing any panties. She's bottom naked. And the third card is the Three of Discs. So there's a small man here carrying this huge boulder. And in this card, he's wearing panties, but in the original, he's not. So these three cards, the Hanged Man, the Princess of Cups, and the Three of Discs, are the only cards that have been censored. And if you find a deck that has these bottom naked, these people, then you know you have an uncensored version, but that is going to be a knockoff because originally these images have been displayed in an exhibition in a bank building. And the devil card, the devil picture, has been stolen from there. So the creator of the deck, Karl Röhrig, he made another one. And he did change a little bit, but no one knows what the changes are because the original artwork is gone. Nowhere to be found. And so, yeah, when they printed this, they changed these three cards so that they are not completely naked. Now, I don't know about the big version in English, but I think that one is also censored if I'm not completely mistaken. This deck comes in different sizes and different languages. The German one, like I said, is still available, and you can get that one for as low as $7.99 on Amazon with the guidebook and everything, like the whole, like this package here. But then there's also the smaller Spanish version, also censored. And you can also get the Czech version, which has gilded edges and thicker cardstock. And then for the big cards, the English version, that's the one that you can't really get anymore. That's the one that is out of print. And if you can manage to find one, this one is sold up to $2,000 or $2,500. But here's the thing. These cards, the big ones, like they have these keywords up here. And so they're in the language the deck comes in. They're either German or Czech or Spanish or English. But the thing is, when you have the big cards, it doesn't really matter, especially since a lot of us like trimming the decks. And each keyword that you can find up here is also in the cards because there's writing on the cards. And here it says completion. Let's see if I can. So here you have the same guide, the same word in German and English. So if you trim this off, it doesn't really matter. So you don't need the English cards. Even like the only thing, if you're in an English-speaking country and you want the guidebook, well, getting it with the German one, you may not be able to read it. But card-wise, if you just wanna have the cards, you can get the big German cards and completely forget what it says up there. All the keywords are on the cards for every single card. There's always German and English on them, and you can, yeah, some you can read better than others because here's like purple background and black writing on it. But they really do have, like, sometimes the keywords are up in the sky, and some even have additional French on them. So, and some have more keywords, like here we have the Six of Wands, and we have victory, success, clear, breakthrough. Then we have the same things in German, and yeah, a lot more keywords and phrases and stuff on here. So you really don't need the English cards and like spend $2,000 on them. You can get them for $8 in German, trim off the borders, and still have the keywords if you really want to have these cards. The Ananda Tarot is a deck that I, for the first time, saw on Veronica Jude's channel. So thank you for showing this. And this is just like the Röhrig Tarot, done by a German painter, by, well, Ananda Pilz, that's what he's called. And this is surrealist artwork. He died quite a few years ago, and this deck is usually sold for anywhere from, where is it? Between 50 and 275 euros. And I got this deck in the eBay classifieds, and the person who sold it to me is connected to this painter because he's also selling his artwork. And when I looked on Amazon for this deck, the name of the seller popped up with the name of the painter, like always together as like a duo. And so I pretty much got this from the source without knowing it. And I only had to pay $39 for this, plus €5 for shipping. And this was actually a brand new version because the cards were still sealed. The book, the spine has not been broken. It is pretty much unread and still has that new smell. So it's a nice thick guidebook that comes with this. And this is a German version of the deck. This also exists in English, but once again, the English one, tracking that one down, I guess that would be much more expensive than the German version, which is easier to find. And he also has a second deck that is the I Ching, that has 64 cards, and it's kind of like an oracle thing. So here are the backs of these cards, and I have so far only looked through them. I've never worked with this deck because out of all the out-of-print decks that I have, this one is kind of like, okay, the person who did this has passed away. It's like new. It's kind of like, I'm kind of afraid to touch it because I don't want to ruin it. I don't know. I also would love to trim off the white borders, but then again, since this is so rare, I don't know. But yeah, the cards are pretty like different from what I usually know. Like if you want me to do a walkthrough of any of these, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, I saw this on Veronica's channel and I was so intrigued. I looked it up and I just had to have it. So this is one of my precious, so to speak. And I do want to work with this because the images are really, yeah, these are images, like some of these cards I can actually get lost in. And I like that. So they're not overly like in your face. They're very soft and have some like different layers that are see-through. Kind of, it's hard to explain. But yeah, they just have a very soft look into your soul kind of thing. I can't describe it any better. So yeah, the Ananda Tarot, that is also one of my out-of-print decks. Another one that when I mentioned the Atlantis Tarot, in the same catalog, back then they also sold the Arcus Arcanum Tarot. And this one, I didn't buy it back then because the picture in the catalog was only this small, and so I couldn't really see anything. I didn't know what this deck was all about. Had I known what the cards look like, I probably would have ordered it pretty soon after ordering the Avalon Tarot. And I have two versions of this. This one I actually keep in my bubble wrap, and this one still has the original borders, and it comes with a little white book. And it is the German version. This one is from 1986. And I think all the decks that you can get from this one are from the 86 version. I don't think they did too many editions of this. And I managed to get a second one that is in this box, like one of those old VHS tape boxes. Beruf und Berufung is, Berufung und Beruf is like career and calling. And it only mentions on the back that this is the, oh, actually, it does on the front, it's kind of falling apart, mentions that it's the Arcus Arcanum. But if you Google for the Arcus Arcanum, this may come up. But if you look on Amazon just for the Arcus Arcanum, this will not come up. And this came with another guidebook, so I put the original guidebook in here, which I bought separately. And these cards, since they're my, well, they were the original backup, I have trimmed them. I cut off the corners, and this is kind of like, they really look like from a He-Man comic, like straight from the 70s or something. And they all look very much alike, just with different hair colors. And some guys have shaved face, some have a beard or a mustache. But yeah, this is something very unique. Yeah. And I guess it's kind of like a substitute for not having the Justice League tarot, which is also a comic book tarot. But yeah, I love reading with this. This one loves to talk about feelings and yeah, what people are doing emotionally. So yeah. And I got this box for just 20 bucks. And usually the Arcus Arcanum, depending on whether you get the big version with the guidebook or just the small yellow box, goes for anywhere between 70 and 250 euros. A deck that is very rare is one that came with a game called Arcanum, and so I bought a second game to have a backup deck, and this one is still sealed. So here are my original cards. This is a low Scarabeo deck, and it belongs to a board game that's played with these cards, because the 4 suits are 4 houses, 4 royal houses, and 1 house has to win, stuff like that. And so these cards were the first low Scarabeo cards where they only have, like, what is it, the symbol or the number on the top, and then just the symbol for the suits at the bottom, and then they're color coded, but that's it. There's not additional languages or anything on it, and that's what I really loved. And since this came with a game, there was no little white book or anything, so this was the very first deck where I only had my intuition and everything else that I had learned about tarot previously to guide me through this. And this deck is actually a hybrid of these 2 decks. So that's the Ludy Lescot, and I have the Italian version, that's why my box looks a bit different, and the Initiatory Golden Dawn Tarot. Now, it's, for the most part, it's the Initiatory Golden Dawn, but this deck contains nudity, so all the cards that have top naked women were taken out, which is all the pages, which are princesses. They've been taken out. Every other card that has nudity, for example, the Lover's card, has been taken out, and it was replaced with another card that is actually not the original Lover's card from the Ludy Lescot, but it's the 8 of Cups. And this deck has some of these in here. For example, where is it? The court cards. The Page of Swords is the 7 of Swords from the Ludy Lescot. And the Page of Cups is now the 3 of Pentacles from the Ludy Lescot. And so the cards that they swapped are not the original cards, like at the same position, except for the Page of Coins. That one is the Page of Coins from the other deck. But yeah, they took some other cards where they saw that fit. But I actually love reading with this deck, and since this was put together by Scarabeo, there must have been a thought process behind it. Even though this was probably never intended to be used as a deck for reading. But yeah, I mean, I can read with this so well because the Page of Cups, that's now the the Page of Swords, that's now the 7 of Swords, and the Page of Wands is the 5 of Wands, I think. So yeah, this 7 of Swords, it has the original 7 of Swords image in the window. So if you can see back here is the original RWS 7 of Swords in the window, and then he has his swords here on the wall, and he has like blueprints of something, and he is not looking very friendly. But to me, this is a person that can't be trusted. And usually I have problems with the court cards because they don't really give me much, but these different cards actually give me a lot. So when this card comes up, I know this is a person that can't be trusted. I wouldn't trust him with my money. I wouldn't trust him with my life. He may have gotten to where he is using methods that may not have been completely ethical. He may have cheated, he may have lied. So meeting this person, I would be very careful. Careful what I tell that person, and, you know, not give away too many of my secrets. They may be used against me. And yeah, this is a person to watch out for. And that gives me way more than any other court card I have ever seen. And that's why I love reading with this hybrid deck. And yeah, that one comes with a game that is still somehow available on Marketplace, Amazon Marketplace, for different amounts of money. I got the third to last one in Germany that was available on a website that sells games. And now they're all sold out. You can only get used copies. The Ludy Lescot is a deck that is also out of print now, and I bought this specifically because it is part of that hybrid deck, and I wanted to have both of the original decks to look at the original cards. And I got an Italian version. That's why my box looks different. Usually it's black, has Ludy Lescot written on it, and like the purple Ankh cross on it. And this one is now available, if you can find a copy, for anywhere between $75 and $225. So this one's quite expensive, and I got this specifically because my hybrid deck, my Arcanum deck, is partially made up of these cards, and so I wanted to have the original cards to look at. So far I haven't used this in a reading, like just these cards. But I know some of these cards from the other deck, and yeah, I will try reading with this eventually. Some decks that are now going out of print are decks by She Who Shall Not Be Named. And two of those that are now really hard to get are the Romance Angel Oracle cards and the Past Life Oracle cards. Now, I wasn't fast enough to get one in English, and I thought, well, I got more time. Even when I knew they were discontinuing this, I still didn't think to get it. So now I got a French version, because in French and Spanish they're still available, because it's a different publisher. So they are probably not going to discontinue those decks, especially now that the English ones are discontinued. They can still sell this. The French one is also cheaper than the Spanish one, so I got this one, even though I can't read French. But yeah, to me this is not so much her deck, because Dr. Brian L. Weiss is also named on here, And he's the guy who is best known for his past life regression work. And so I think this is more his deck and his work, and her name is simply for marketing on this. So yeah, if you can still find an English version, I mean, that one goes for anywhere between, I've seen it between 90 and 1,600 euros, which is like, the prices in euros are very similar to dollars. So yeah, anywhere between, let's say, 90 and 1,600 bucks for this one, the English one. And this one, the Romance Angels, is now also completely out of stock. Like, you can't even find it on Amazon anymore, anywhere. What you can find is for a very small amount, like $8 or so, a knockoff version. And they sell those like left and right. So this deck, if you really missed out on it, and if you want to work with it, I mean, Hay House is not making any more money from it. She is not making any more money from it. So I think this time it would probably be okay-ish to get a knockoff version if you really want to work with this deck. Because it's now discontinued, why not? And yeah, well, they're still available in French and in German at the regular price. But since not very many people speak German or French, the English one is like really hard to get now, and I have seen these go for anywhere between 70 and 500 now. And I think they might go up in price. Doesn't mean that people are going to pay that, but at least that's what people are asking for it. And a lot of her decks that only have her name on it are also either sold out already, like the Archangel Michael Tarot. Still available in German and French. And some of these decks are also available in one Asian language, but since I don't know the signs, I can't tell them apart. I don't know which Asian language it is. Yeah, but French and German still available, English not so much. Another deck that is, like, I got a French version is the Fallen Angels Oracle. And this one, in English, people are asking, or they have been asking before the reprint for next year was announced, was between 100 and 1,770. That was the most expensive one that I found. They have now reduced, like the same seller has reduced the price by $1,000 now, so they're only asking for 770 now, or 750. So the box of the one coming out next year may look a bit different, but the cards are still the same. The guidebook is still going to be the same. So that's the guidebook. I have already pre-ordered my English version because I can't read French, but the guidebook looks really nice, and I can't wait to get the English version to know what this says. The new reprint is available for anywhere between 18 and 22. It's available for pre-order on Amazon or Book Depository. And this one, when I saw this was like a week before the reprint was kind of announced, before I found that out. And so I saw this French one for 36 on Amazon Marketplace, and I snatched it thinking, okay, this is as close as I'm ever going to get to this deck. And I'll figure out the French translation to German somehow eventually, but now I don't have to since there's going to be a reprint. The last deck on my list today is one that is not being used by me. I don't use it for readings. I have only looked through the cards once. I have not really looked through the guidebook. The spine is still intact. And that's this one. It's the Baphomet Tarot of the Underworld. And this comes in different edition. Now, there is the original edition from years ago. But that one, it's a major arcana only deck, by the way, and that one has 22 cards and a guidebook. This one right here is the 2010 Acron edition, or Acron. And this one has 23 cards because it comes with a new additional card. And, let's see, that is this one. It's called The Virus. And did I mention I have the English version? So, yeah, I find this deck very disturbing for anyone. Like, you can find walkthroughs of this deck on the internet, so it comes with a nice guidebook, spine still unbroken. This is the back of the cards. And the only thing I have ever done was look through them. I have not shuffled them, I have not used them. I will never use them for a reading because I find them very disturbing. And this, like in the German edition, exactly this box in German, you can still get this for $24.95. But I couldn't find the English version anymore. And so the English version for this, I would say, since I can't find it anywhere, is out of print. And so for the original version with only 22 cards, that one usually goes for anywhere between $45 and $250. And this English version here, yeah, I don't really know what people are asking for this one because I haven't found this English version anywhere. So I'm guessing this would also be anywhere between 50 and 150, 250, I don't know. So this may be quite valuable sometime. I bought this because my man is a huge fan of the Alien movies, and when I saw this, I thought, well, I'm gonna get it, look through this and see what it does for me, but no. I don't want to read with this deck. I don't want the cards anywhere near me. I don't keep them with my regular decks. I have this in a shelf somewhere else, locked away. And I think I would trade this in a heartbeat, especially for Tiltwig. Like, if anyone has a Tiltwig and they don't want it anymore, but they would be interested in this creepy deck, let me know. Write me a message. I would trade this in a heartbeat. Yeah, I have no intention of ever reading with this, and I think this will be in a trade eventually, if I can find something good to trade it for. And that is all of the out-of-print decks in my collection that I have, at least for now, at the end of 2019. At the beginning of 2019, the Ludy Lescot was not out of print, but it is now. Some other decks have gone out of print from Low Scarabeo as well. For example, the Michelangelo Tarot has gone out of print this year. Yeah. But that's life. If you also want to do a VR on the out-of-print valuable decks that you have, yeah, I'd love to see that. I'm always interested in what kind of decks other people have. Do they work with them? What do they use them for? So that's something really interesting. If you want to see any of the decks that I showed today in more detail, with the exception of the Baphomet, that one I'm not going to get out of the box. There are other walkthroughs on YouTube, but if any of the other decks, if you're interested in them, I can show you. The Atlantis Tarot I have already done a walkthrough or a flip through of. The Röhrig Tarot, I showed that one, I believe, but I still want to do a video about that one where I talk about it in more detail. I'm in the process of translating the basic stuff from the German guidebook so that I can talk about it in English. and there's a lot of symbology in that deck, and knowing those things can make a difference reading with it and really enjoying it. So I definitely want to do something about that. And that's pretty much it. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!